Hi guys, it's Rie.
Hello, I'm Alvin.
Today, Alvin and I are going to show you how to make chilled noodles at home.
So at home, I make something called liang mian, which literally translates to cold noodles in Chinese. I think it's a generic term used to describe any Chinese-style cold noodle dish. Everybody has their own version of liang mian. Mine is based on what my mom used to make, what my grandpa used to make, and how I like to eat it at home. So I start by making the noodles. So this noodle is actually almost like a hand-cut noodle style in Chinese. It's called dao xiao mian, which means knife-cut noodles. So it has this wide, thick, kind of like craggly texture around the edges, which is nice because then it helps it absorb all the sauce. This is not ramen, so this is actually not a fried noodle. It is a dry noodle, so there's none of that extra fat. I just like that I can feel a little bit healthier when I eat this dish because there's no oil in this noodle. I just cook it in a boiling pot of water for like 3 minutes or so according to the package instructions. Usually I go for the more like chewier side, so maybe I'll undercook it and then I'll take a bite and I'll just see like, is it ready? After that's done, it's important to me that I actually rinse it under cold water and sort of like kind of swish it around with my hands so that it helps get rid of that extra starch and cools it down, because for this kind of dish, I want the noodles to not be very sticky and almost like I want to separate the noodles. I don't know what the best word is, but basically I take the noodles, I take them in the sink to wash them out a little bit of cold water. That rinses out the starch, and that also helps the noodles not stick when they're just hanging out while I make the rest of the dish. So next, I work on the sauce. I think the sauce is kind of where everybody has their favorite version of how they make these cold noodles. It's usually spicy, usually sweet, has some vinegar. Mine has peanut butter, mine has sesame oil, soy sauce, black vinegar, white sugar, MSG, and freshly cut garlic, which I'll cut later. Another ingredient I like to put in is the laoganma chili oil with the fermented black beans. I just really like that flavor. It helps this noodle get that spicy, that fermented funky taste. I think it's great, so I like to put that in as well. So actually in Chinese cuisine, peanuts are a common thing we use in savory food because we think it adds a really nice flavor. Fun fact, every time we go back to China, my mom literally brings an entire suitcase of Skippy chunky peanut butter because my grandpa likes to use it to cook. He's not eating it on bread, we're not making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We're literally using Skippy to put in like pretty gourmet Chinese dishes. So I think that's a pretty fun fact. But in this case, I like to use chunky peanut butter. So after that's all nice and mixed, I usually give it a taste because I don't measure. My ancestors tell me to stop, but sometimes I don't hear anything, so that I mess it up and they're just shaking their head. So I have to check and make sure that all the seasoning is there. After that, the sauce is ready. Just kidding, the sauce is not ready. I didn't cut the garlic yet. For this dish, usually I have a garlic press at home, but I don't have one here. And what I do is I almost want to really mince or crush the garlic, so all those juices, all that flavor is coming out. So after I cut it up really finely, I like to actually use kosher salt and use the back of the knife to almost like scrape and grind the garlic down. This is a trick that I was taught to me by Claire King. Apparently they use it a lot to get that minced garlic paste texture without having to use a garlic press. So I like to use that because for this dish, I don't want to be eating hunks of garlic. I want to be getting the flavor of the garlic juices. So I like to use this technique and it makes me feel cool while I'm doing it. So that's why I like doing this. So now that everything is ready, it's time to assemble. So the noodles go in, make sure they're cold, make sure that they are not sticking. After that, I'd like to put in shredded chicken breast. So chicken breast that is either cooked or almost like dry, which kind of sounds weird, but it tears really nicely. I like meat, so I put in a lot of chicken. I just like putting everything in the dish that I love because it's my food and nobody's gonna tell me how to make it besides me. And maybe my grandma and grandpa and mom and dad. Anyways, all that stuff goes in, the sauce goes on top, and if I'm feeling like it, I'll even put like crushed up honey roasted peanuts. Like if you can get them at the store, the ones you snack on, I actually like to crush them up and like put it as a crunchy garnish or even as a mix-in. So I think it adds, again, more of that nice peanut flavor. As a crunch, I think crunch in noodles and starches is really, really good. And the magic happens. You mix it all together. Chicken absorbs the sauce, the noodles absorb the sauce, everybody's becoming friends, all the flavors are getting to know each other. And after that, a little garnish of some garlic and some chili oil on top, maybe some scallions. And after that, you just toss it up and you go ham. You just eat the whole thing because you're the only one in this apartment right now and you are hungry. That's me, by the way. I really like this dish because I think it just has everything. It has your noodles, your starch, it has your meat, which is your chicken, It has your vegetables, and when it comes to the flavors, it hits all the flavors. You have sugar, which is actually really important in these kinds of dishes because it helps with the spice. It helps bring out the other flavors. I think it sounds weird to put sugar in savory dishes, but I think it just makes everything taste better. You have salt, obviously from the soy. The Chinese black vinegar is different than regular vinegar or balsamic. It has a very different flavor that's hard to explain, but it's not as acidic and just makes everything taste really good, which is why it's also used in dumplings. You have spiciness from the chili oil, funkiness from the fermented beans, nuttiness from the sesame, and the peanuts, the scallions and everything, the garlic. It's just really good because you literally take a bite and it kind of explodes. I know that sounds weird, it's cliche, a flavor explosion, but this is really why I enjoy making this, because if I don't know what I want to eat, this dish literally has everything I want to eat. Well, thank you for watching. That was how I like to make my chilled noodles. And this is how Rie makes her chilled noodles.
Today I am making hiyashi chuka. So in Japan, when restaurants start advertising now serving hiyashi chuka, that's the sign of beginning of summer. So in Japan, when you go to convenience stores or grocery stores, you can find pre-made hiyashi chuka. And today I'm going to show you a hack how to make pasta taste like ramen noodle. First step, I'm going to make tare, which is sauce, because I want to make this sauce chilled. I'm adding sugar, mirin, soy sauce, and rice vinegar. I'm give a quick stir, so making sure the sugar dissolved. Bring it to a boil, add water, sesame oil, and squeeze lemon. So when I squeeze lemon, I just use half lemon, and I'm using mesh seed so the seed doesn't get into the sauce. Once sauce is done, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. In a large pot, add water and salt, and then bring to a boil. Alright, so now is my hack. I'm adding baking soda. When you add baking soda into pasta water, that makes your pasta taste like ramen noodle. This hack was introduced by my friend, but I think it is very popular in Japan, especially who lives in overseas, because ramen noodle is not easy to find in a grocery store, and you will be surprised when you taste it. It doesn't taste like pasta. It does taste like ramen noodle. So now water is ready. I'm going to add 2 portions of spaghetti. I think for hiyashi chuka with this hack, spaghetti works the best. But if you are making ramen noodle using this hack, angel hair pasta or something very thin, capellini, will work better. While you are boiling, sometimes water boils over, right? And there is another bonus hack. You can put chopstick over your pot so it will stop boiling over. If you don't have a chopstick, you can use wooden spoon. Just need something over. Now my spaghetti is cooked. I'm going to strain the water in the sink and give a quick wash with running water because I want to stop cooking and we are serving chilled. So, washing with running water is also important. Once you finish rinsing, give a quick shake to remove excess water so the sauce won't water down. So now let's make toppings. I'm going to make egg omelette. I'm using 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of sugar and a pinch salt. Mix with chopsticks. You can also use fork. Preheat the pan and use a little bit of neutral oil and use paper towel to wipe off excess oil. Pour over to the pan and cook both sides. When omelette is cool to touch, I roll it up and cut thinly and make thin sliced egg omelette. Okay, so next I'm cutting ham thin slice and then cut cucumber as same as egg omelette and ham. So basically I want to make all 3 components, ham, egg, cucumber, with the same shape. And tomato, I like to use heirloom tomato. I feel like heirloom tomato tastes most tomato-y flavor. First, I'm going to remove the core using my petty knife tip, kind of going circle and remove that hard core part. And then cut in half and then cut about quarter. I just wanted to cut tomato in wedges. Lastly, I'm going to grind some toasted white sesame. I think it's gonna give nice kind of flavor. We use sesame oil and I think it's a nice touch having that like toasty sesame flavor. And now we are plating Okay, so first I'm adding noodles and then each toppings kind of putting separately since you beautifully cut those ingredients, and pour over chilled sauce I made earlier, and the final touch, sprinkle some sesame seeds. Okay, so this is how I make hiyashi chuka at home. This is the summer staple dish I crave every summer. It is refreshing and filling at the same time. It is tangy and a little bit sweet, and it's super refreshing from those fresh vegetables like cucumber, tomatoes, and I think vinegar is key ingredient. It makes you fresh. Thank you so much for watching, and tell us in the comment what kind of chilled noodles you make at home.